They've had a hard season to date, so there's not been a lot of days off. You go through periods of the season where you're in 7 days a week, and that probably goes on for 6-8 weeks. And then every now and again you've got a Sunday off, and every now and again you've got a Wednesday off. So I gave the boys a wee bit of time off. They were off the Monday, the Wednesday and the Friday, but we were in the Tuesday, Thursday doing a lot of testing, a lot of cardio work. So they had some time off, so they had the long weekend previously after the Ross County game, and then they had the long weekend for the Friday to Sunday in the lead up to this game. So just tried to build in as much free time as we could, but conscious of the peaks and troughs, and you know what to do too little and then you come back in and that's where you get your injuries, or you do too much. So we try to get that happy medium, give them a wee bit of time off, but make sure they're in the club still working hard. I think that points tally will change. If you were to go and beat St Mirren on Saturday, I think at this point in time you're probably looking at ourselves and St Mirren with an outside chance at St Johnstone, but it's an outside chance. You're looking at ourselves and St Mirren, if we were to win on Saturday, there's 3 games to go and maybe 4 points ahead. So debatably, you could maybe be there or thereabouts. I think St Mirren's got 2 tough games after that in terms of Rangers and Hearts. But do you know what, Brian? I just take one game at a time. To be fair, I have looked at it, but I don't look into it in too much detail. I remember speaking to the boys before, and I thought we needed 10 points. We've got 7. We've got 3 from where I thought we needed it maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. But that changes based on the team's result in and around you. If ourselves and St Mirren going a poor run of form and St Johnstone going win the next 2 or 3 games, they could be right in the mix also. So I think just deal with the game in front of us, and that's St Mirren on Saturday. No, I'm not coaching 2 or 3 weeks down the line. I'm not going into St Mirren thinking 2 or 3 weeks down the line. I think in St Mirren it's all cliche, it's like a double pointer nearly, because you're a game down and a 3 points missed opportunity, depending if that was the case. If you go into that game and it was a draw, you both remain where you are, but St Johnstone could pick 3 points up. So I have looked at all teams in and around this fixture list, including Aberdeen's and including Hibs, to see roughly what it would take to get in there. But I'm looking at things that are out with my control, so I'm probably more inclined to focus on what's within our control, and that's the next opponent, which is St Mirren on Saturday. Look at the job Robble's done. There's a point between the 2 of us. There's nothing between the 2 teams. They were very fortunate to pick points up at home the last time against us. We were a wee bit unfortunate not to get anything from the game. We probably should have won the game in terms of they were at 10 men, we had a penalty, we don't score, and it was 1 each, and then you got the part and scored the last kick of the ball. And then at home here it was a draw, and I think ever since we've returned, even in the Championship with Jack, I don't think there's much between the 2 clubs at all. There's always been much of a muchness in terms of the players we have, the players we're fighting for, and roughly the league finishes. I think we're not a million miles away from one another in the league. So I'm not approaching the game any differently than what I would if it was match day 1 or the first time we went to Paisley. So I can only really speak about my players. I don't want to say what Robbo and his players are thinking about, but we'll not be approaching the game any differently in terms of prize money or anything along the lines. It's an opportunity in Saturday to go and pick 3 points up. It's going to be a difficult task. As you said, I think they've got the best defensive record outside the Old Firm, so they're the best of the rest in terms of their defensive record at home. So it's going to be a difficult game of football, and we're under no illusions how hard that's going to be. Fitzy's back in, gives me options. Again, I don't like changing a winning team. I think my managerial, if you look at how I've coached over the years since I've been in here, I don't change a winning team too much. I think there's a way in the team and there's a way out of the team, and that's got to be earned through winning games of football. So I do have options, but I'm also well aware that the boys won their last game also. I think you're at the business end of the season, so you come into it, and I work on it in 33 games originally, so I try and coach 11, 11, 11, so you're into the last 11 games, and especially this period, the last 4 games. So I think you're at the business end, and there's a lot more to play for. You've not got 15 matches to pick points up on, so you're 4 games to go to the split. You're a point ahead of your opponent at this point in time, so I think it brings a wee bit more to the game But again, I try and coach it in terms of we're playing St Mirren away on Saturday. I don't like to approach it any differently from how I've approached previous games. But now you can see, I think with the split, I think it adds something to the league, whether you finish in the bottom six or the top six. But definitely at this point, there's probably ourselves, St Mirren and St Johnstone. I don't mean this disrespectful to anyone else. You've just missed that relegation points total, so the 3 is should be safe. And if you never had that split, there's not a lot to play for at this point in time. Whereas there's at least 4 is, potentially 5 is, all trying to get into the top 6. So it brings that wee bit of added spice to these games, especially when you're playing opponents in and around your area in the league. No, everybody's good. I've not got anything. Wee Bradders had a heel knot, but he played in the reserve game on Tuesday. He came through that fine. Nobody. Tom Park, Sean Kelly's progressing. Both of them are very, very similar in terms of the inflammation in and around the knee area, but they're progressing very slowly, but they are progressing. So when they'll be back, I don't know. Probably Sean before Parks, I would imagine, but I've not really got any major injury concerns to talk about, or none that I want to tell you about. I put Nicky, I put Fitzy. I think it's highly probable that they're going to be playing the football at Livingston next year, so I've reached the stage when my relationship with both players, I know they're not going to be here. So I'm going to try and help promote their careers as much as possible. So I've sent a text message to a few clubs in Scotland and a few clubs down in England to show that if I had the financial capability, both players would be in this building next year without a shadow of doubt. I don't want to lose them, but I think it's inevitable that I am going to lose them. So if I can help progress their career, I'm more than willing to do that. It's a time of the year I don't enjoy. I enjoy the recruitment side of it in terms of players coming on my radar. Then the next protocol's talking to clubs, talking to agents, and that's the depressing part. Clubs then tell me, well, we're wanting this for the player. Agents then tell me we're wanting this per week, or this is what he's on per week, wherever he may be playing his football. So that gets the depressing part for me. So I'm very active in my recruitment at this point in time, but not very successful. So it's fairly normal at this stage, Kerry, if I'm honest. It's probably more so coming into the first weeks of June, where my phone's a wee bit more busy in terms of waiting on players coming in to me. Opposed to I've got 5 or 6 positions that I'm recruiting for just now. There's probably six players identified for every position. So you work your way back the way, and it's just a wee bit depressing sometimes when you get to player number 6 and you still can't afford them. So we'll wait and see what comes my way, then we'll do it. Probably a wee bit of the reverse psychology there in terms of players will probably get put into me that are looking for clubs, and then I'll do my background opposed to me doing the background checks first and going to the player. It'll probably be agents then approaching me to say this player's out of contract, that player's out of contract, and then I'll do my detailed analysis on them at that point. But been very, very active on the recruitment. Spoke to a couple of agents yesterday as well. It's getting to that time of the year where you have got clubs phoning, you have got agents, you have got managers, and I've got a few managers that try and help me out in terms of maybe they're losing players, and they'll maybe put a couple of players into me, just very much like I'm doing with Nicky and Fitzy. So yeah, active but not successful. Still in the brace, but it was the best case scenario. So could have been cruciate ligament damage. The MRI showed it's more medial ligament damage, so it's more a 3-month injury than a 6-month injury. I think that's him roughly 4 weeks. 4 weeks on Saturday, or I think it's Saturday. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. So he's in his brace now. The brace comes off in the next week to 10 days, and then that'll extend the range of movement in his knee, and then the big man will be back in the building, because we sent him down the road to go and spend some time with his family, because the last thing I want is somebody sitting in a flat up here, can't really travel, can't drive, he's sitting in his flat. So it made sense to let him get back down the road and spend some time with his family.